I don't know what order these videos are going up in. You know, in my brain it makes sense that the video about read books that I have read will go up first, but maybe not. Anyway, hello again, my name is India, and I'm reading read books for a week. This is the first bit in a series where I tackle my TBR via color, starting with red. I'm wearing a lot of red. I've tried to surround myself with red. What can I say? This is the intro to the vlog part of this red bit, where I'll be reading 3 books. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Yes, this isn't a fully read book. I have a fully read book, which is Push by Sapphire. This is fully read. But as I was saying, this is not fully read, but red's fine. As you'll see, I have already started The Scarlet Letter. I've already started the book, The Scarlet Letter. I have not started the narrative of The Scarlet Letter because there's like a 50-page introduction. Ugh, annoying. Not really. Only a little bit. But I will be reading The Scarlet Letter and listening to Brave New World on audio whenever I'm doing stuff. So, cheers! Enjoy. Hello, it is India from the future. I haven't filmed my intro for this vlog yet, but I was sitting and I was like, I've reached a good stopping point in the anthology that I'm working my way through. So I'm going to stop reading it so that I can do this vlog and read these books. But I was like, but it isn't a new day yet and I need to wait for a new day. And then I was like, do I really though? So rather than going through a whole thing where I'm like, what do I read? I'm just gonna start. So I think I'm going to start The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I'm very excited. This is like a really amazing copy. This was my great uncle's. And honestly, I don't think it's ever been read. The spine is perfect, which kind of scares me because I know just like, am I going to break the spine? Normally I don't care, but with like old books that don't have a broken spine, I feel a little conflicted about it. When was this published? Like, look at that. Oh, I love it. $19.59, right? It's the 14th printing. Man. Oh my gosh, I'm excited and also scared. I'm scared I'm gonna be bored, to be honest. But here we go. My first red book. Ooh, got a red ribbon. There we go. I want to like cheers it. There we go. Okay. There's an introduction. There's the Custom House introductory to The Scarlet Letter. That's like 50 pages. Do I want to read that? Is it important for me to read that? Hold up. Here we go. A note to a preface that I did not read. Question. I know there are people who read literally every written word that's in a book. I am not one of those people. Okay, so this says note. Originally, as he explains in his footnote, page 52. Hawthorne had intended to publish several other tales and sketches along with the main narrative, which he felt to be too short to stand alone, but the first edition included only the custom house. Certain political figures in Salem protested that Hawthorne was making an unfair attack on them, hence this preface. Most editors have followed Hawthorne's lead in treating the custom house as an introduction to the romance itself. Okay. I will read it. I will read introductory to the Scarlet Letter. Also, I just realized with this cover, there are the double T's of letter, and then there's the cross. So it's kind of like there are 3 T's. And now that slightly irks me for no reason. Onward we go. Okay. I finished the introductory. That's what it's called. It's not an introduction, it's an introductory to the Scarlet Letter, and it was boring. There's like maybe a page, between half a page and like a page and a half, where he's like, I opened this box and found this piece of scarlet fabric that was in the shape of an A, and the story of Hester Prynne. I'll figure out how to pronounce her name. And here's this story, but first, let me continue telling you about how I am a... what is he? Surveyor. Annoying. I need to film my intro. Still haven't done that. My plan is to vacuum, make some brunch, and then I'll do that. I don't know what my dog wants. So I'm about 90 pages into the Scarlet Letter, and oh my god. I felt this way kind of when I was reading Dracula last year, of like, I feel bad that I'm not expecting to enjoy these books, that I'm like expecting to be kind of bored, but this is like so interesting to think about. I just read the part where Hester is like thinking about what it's like to interact with society, to interact with her neighbors, her community, after she's been ostracized from them. And it reminded me of this like pretty well-known concept with queerness of like constantly having to come out. And it is clearly different because she's like talking about how everyone treats her differently because the A is always there, and there's no possibility of someone not knowing, like even when a stranger is there, like sees it and doesn't understand it, like that person still like comes to know what it means and comes to like accept that ostracization of her. And yeah, it just made me think of like all the times that like queer people have to repeatedly come out, and that sense of like heightened and like clear feelings of otherness. Also just like thinking about the like fact that she is this artist and this craftswoman who plays this essential role in what other people wear, like that she is marked by what she wears, like a particular article, and she is like also the person who makes these like fancy things for people to wear that are like celebratory or for like special occasions. So I think that is so interesting. And it's like clearly part of, with that, that's what you're supposed to get. But the last thing before I go to bed, thinking about this as a model of like, how do you punish people? But also like, the flip side of that is like, how does a group of people maintain strict Puritan social, moral, religious codes? I don't know how to phrase this, but it's like this idea that you don't need to punish. I don't think anyone should be punished. But you don't need to punish everyone who does something even slightly wrong. You just need to make sure you very strongly punish at least one person and like really focus on that person. Really strongly other them. I mean, what are we talking about? We're just talking about othering and like society. Hester is ultra sensitive to what other people are doing, and this like the other sins that the people in her community are committing, because she is so strongly ostracized and strongly outcast and like feels so completely cut out. But at the same time, like the reason why those people who are committing sins aren't being treated the way that she is treated is because the way she is treated like ensures that the social order is gonna keep on being ordered. That is gonna work. Is that just fear tactics? Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean or like why I'm thinking about that. Hello and happy Friday. I have been sitting on this couch basically since waking up, just reading, watching various booktube videos. Here's Shadow. You want to be involved. Mostly because I woke up like in pain. It's fun, but not that odd of an occurrence. So, oh my gosh, this book. There's part of me that wishes that I read this in a classroom setting, because like there are all these things that would be so fun to talk about with people. I know that my reading of The Scarlet Letter, especially the question of like, should Hester keep Pearl? Like, should Hester be allowed to raise this child? Is like deeply informed by the book Beggars and Choosers by Ricky Solinger, I think, which is all about motherhood, adoption, and the myth of choice in the US. And abortion, I think, is one of the topics that's discussed. But it's about like who gets to be a mother, like, and like who gets to choose to be a mother in a social context. So yeah. I'm gonna keep hanging out with him and reading and watching stuff. I finished The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. It made me think about a lot of things, especially near the end, about like doing one bad thing does not make you a bad person. Just like, I don't know. So, checked off of my read books list checked off of this was on my list of books to read this year. Also just like on my reading bucket list. Wow, you can really see how chipped my nails are. Off my reading bucket list. I think it's probably on the 1001 books to read before you die list, which I keep track of with my grandpa. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to sleep, get some rest, and then I'll start Push tomorrow. Good morning. So I've just been reading Push. I'm on page like 65, and it's really good. I mean, like, trigger warnings for child abuse, sexual and physical abuse, but the story is ultimately about this girl who's 16, and she has the opportunity to go to an alternative school, and there she is starting to learn how to read and write, and there are some parts that are really hard to read about, like she gets pregnant for the first time when she's 12, and that's due to sexual abuse from her father. And at the point where this book starts, she's pregnant for a second time. So far, it's just like looking at how education can be empowering, and like this book talks about like the shame that Precious is feeling, not only of being pregnant and of like her like home life and her personal situation, but the shame of like not being able to read and write, and of like the frustration that like she's gone to school and she's been there and didn't learn these things because of the abuse that she was suffering. I don't know where my book is. Like, if I did I put it up there? No, oh, right here. I read Push today, by Sapphire, and I think some of the things that come up in here that are really like important to talk about, but this touches on like the question of who's a fit mother, and motherhood. I'm gonna again reference Ricky Solinger's, is it Ricky Solinger? I think. Beggars and Choosers, which again is all about abortion, adoption, and like motherhood / parenthood in the US, and just like the social complexities of that, and the way that some women are characterized as good or fit mothers and other women are not, based on race, class, ability, age, etc. So I think that's really interesting. The power of education, the importance of like people being able to tell their own stories, and write their own stories and read, the importance of community and groups of individuals who have experienced the same or similar things, the way that like being heard and feeling seen, and how like influential that can be. Yeah, again, there are a lot of trigger warnings, so know that before going into it. Hello, I'm wearing like no red, which is bad. Ideally, I'd be wearing red. Maybe some like red, ooh, I'm gonna put some red lipstick on just to appease myself and my sense of what I'm doing. Okay, let's do this. Oh, this isn't exactly a mirror, but yeah, that isn't very red. I read some red books. And I'm going to talk to you about this because this video has been the bane of my existence for the past week. So yes, I set out to read 3 books that are red, and I managed to read 2 of them. So we're going to talk about Brave New World because I didn't manage to read it. I got like a chapter into Brave New World. I realized I didn't really want to read it, mostly because I kind of predict that the way it's going to go and the critiques it's going to have are ones that I already feel pretty strong, or feel pretty good about knowing, and feel pretty good about agreeing with, in the sense that's like, it's not that I'm not the audience, but I think I have this covered. And I mean that by, like, the first chapter sets out and it's like,
oh my god, humans, we've figured out how to create progeny in a way that makes this very distinct and understandable and easily upheld biological hierarchy. And that is great because then we have a group of people who can do menial work and won't be that upset that they're not fulfilled or whatnot because they don't care about being fulfilled because they're not like the other group of people who are in charge of like actually controlling and like thinking and like running society on a intellectual, moral level.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds bad. That sounds like it sucks. Also, we already biologically, like, judge people. We already have systems of, like, setting up a hierarchy based on biological assumptions. So, yeah, I just was like, I don't think I want to read this on that subject. And so I was like, cool, I'm not going to. And I did read Push and The Scarlet Letter. I enjoyed both of these, and they both made me think of Beggars and Choosers, How the Politics of Choice Shapes Adoption, Abortion, and Welfare in the United States by Brigitte Solinger, which is, I highly recommend. This is all, like, I keep forgetting, like, what the, like, key phrase of this book is. That's like, this is what this is about. This is what the, idea is. The basic idea is that choice is a bit of a myth when it comes to parenthood, giving birth, raising children, because the US has created this binary of good and fit mothers versus like bad and unfit mothers, which we use to revoke people's right or ability to make choices about having children. And it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting, but it's factual. So what isn't those two things? These books made me think about that because we are following in these two stories a woman who has a child and shouldn't. Her because she committed adultery and got pregnant in a Puritan society, and Precious because she is the victim of many kinds of abuse at the hands of her parents. So very, very different, clearly, but yeah, they both had me thinking about that book. Again, I've mentioned this, I think pretty much every time I've talked about this, I've mentioned that there are very strong trigger warnings going into this, that you should know about going into this. And this says a lot about empowering people through education to give them the ability to tell their own stories and give voice to their own experience, and that kind of empowerment. Yeah, so thank you for watching this vlog. I have yet to edit it, and I'm pretty sure it's a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. January has really felt like a year long, and I'll see you in another video. Unsurprisingly, the color we're doing after this is orange, but I don't know when that will be. It depends on a lot of things, like my upcoming move. Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you another time.